Hello, my name is G00262-708 and this is my screencast recording as per the project specification in operating systems. I'm just showing you this is my Eclipse. It's running in a different monitor. That's just the console from it on the right there. So I'm just going to move this back. Oop. And here we have the console from my Eclipse, and this is the VM running on this remote desktop connection. So I'm just going to type in this IP address. You'll bear with me 2 moments. And then the port is set up on 10,000. Now it's connected there. Now I took out a lot of the system.out.print lines that are on the server, so I thought the best way to show you it working is just to show you the files, these files here, as they become populated as we use the program, because that's how I did the project essentially, was just loading stuff to and from files. So if you see over here, we have nothing in our login at the moment, so we'll click register and we'll give it a name, employee ID 2234, email will just say c@c.com, and a department will just say house, whatever. So that should be registered. So if we click over here to log in, you'll see that this is popped up. Now when we go to register, if we try and type in the same ID number 2234 and whatever for these, you'll see we'll get an employee name and ID must be unique. So after that we need to log in. Now we weren't asked for a password verification, we were just asked for some sort of verification, so I just went with just typing in a valid ID number, so 2234, which is the ID number we just typed in there. Enter, and you see we'll get login successful. So now the first thing we go to do in display all bugs, you'll see that the bug report is blank because there's nothing in this bug report, so we'll just go to add one in. So go to add bug, just give it a name, we'll say Word, like Microsoft Word. Enter year, so this is how I did the timestamp, we'll just give this 2, 2, and 2. Platform, we'll say Windows, and we'll say the description is broken, and status can be open. So now if we look up here on our bug report, we're going to have all the information required to load this into an object and then into a list. You'll see from the README in my project that this is how I implemented it. So now if I click display all bugs, we have bug report number 1, and it has the name, the timestamp, and all this kind of stuff. So just for the sake of it, I'm just going to add 2 more bugs really quickly. We'll go Photoshop. 3. I'll say the platform is Mac, and I'll say photos not working. And we'll put this to open, and then we'll just go add 1 more bug, and we'll say Chrome. And again, just filler information. This time we'll say Unix, and the description of this browser not working. And we open. So now when we go to display bugs, you'll see we have our 3 bugs that we've typed in, 1, 2, and 3. Now because I'm maintaining these bugs in a list, and we don't have to delete a bug off the bug report, I'm using essentially the position of the bug in the list as an index number for the bug. Just if that makes sense, because I know that was a requirement of the project. So when we go to assign a bug, it's going to display us the index of it in the list, and it'll only display if it's essentially an open bug. So when we click assign a bug, we get all the open bugs. So if we select, let's say we'll type in 1 for Photoshop, which is the Photoshop bug, and then we'll get the user, which is Cormac, which we've added in up here, so we'll select 0, and it'll tell us bug assigned. Now if we go up to assignment, you'll see that my name along with the index of the bug is now on assignment.txt, so it's a way to keep track of that. So when you want to update a bug, press 4 to update. We get the 2 that aren't assigned and are open. So you can update. So I'd separated out like this initially when I wrote the code. I didn't realize like that you might want it where you'd want to update all bugs. Just the way I have it set up is that if a bug is assigned, it can't be updated, but the update functionality can be done here. So if we'll say ID 2, and if you want to set it to open or closed, the reason I didn't allow it to be set to assigned here is because obviously option 3 allows you to assign a bug. So if we select a new status, so we'll set this one to closed, and we'll append onto the description. We'll say that we'll say browser fixed. Browser fixed, and it'll say bug updated. So now if we come up to bug report, you'll see that here we have Chrome and 3, which means it's set to closed, and it means that you've appended that the browser's been fixed. So if we go to our display bugs now, we're going to get down here, as you can see, application Chrome status has been changed to closed and description has been appended. So the last thing is to reassign a bug. So the way I'll show this is, first of all, exit up. Exit just brings us back to this, and we'll press 1 for register, and I'll just register someone else quickly. 122, and the email will just say anything to get it through, and employee department will just say hello. Now he's been registered, so we'll log in with those credentials, which is just 122, and when we go to reassign a bug now, we're going to get a list of all the bugs that have been assigned, which is this Photoshop, which you can see up here in assignment.txt. So you're allowed to choose this bug, so we'll choose that bug. And then we're given a list of all the users now. You can see here from login.txt, Patrick's been appended to that. So we'll select 1. And you can see up here from assignment, now Patrick is now looking after job 1, which is index 1 in the list every time it's loaded in. I suppose one last thing to talk about is just how that works. Essentially every time you enter into one of these options, I call a function that loads a list handled by a thread. So what I'm going to do is, or it loads, it populates a list handled by the thread from these files. So this is now a second thread that's been spawned that's connected. So we'll see, we'll just connect in here, 2, 3, 1, 2, 41. 3. Hopefully this screencast doesn't sound too terrible, because there's absolutely no way I'm doing all this again. So here, when we'll just go to login, now this is a whole separate thread. The other thread is still running, and you can see here from our login that we have 122, which we did from the other thread. So we'll log in with this, and you'll see the login is successful. And when you display all bugs, it also has all the bugs that we just added in. And yeah, so that's it, being multi-threaded. I'm not sure how effective it'd be if there was loads of threads doing loads of inputs all at once, but it will update depending on what you've added in. So, and then I suppose just to the display, we'll add a bug from this thread, and we'll just say that it's Explorer, and we'll just again give it a timestamp. And say it's on Unix, and we'll just say it's broken, and we'll set the status to open. And then what I'll do is I'll exit this thread here, and you'll see our first thread is still up. And again, we'll log in. Let's log in, and 112 is the ID up here again, Patrick, that we made from the other thread, I think, or did we? Or 122, sorry, getting myself incorrect. And then if we go to display all bugs, you'll see here this bug that we added from the other thread is now available. And again, if we go to assign a bug 3, we now have the 2 unassigned bugs, which is this one here, status open 0, and this one here, status open 4. The reason this is different is in the display. In the for loop I have I+1 for the display, but the index, it matches up, so you can see here 0 will be 1, and 3 will be 4. So we'll just select Explorer and we'll assign it to Patrick. Well, we'll assign it to Cormac because we've assigned 1 to Patrick. And now if we go over to our assignment.txt, you can see here now Cormac is assigned index 3 in the list. And now when we go to display all bugs, go down here to display all bugs, you can see now this is assigned and this is assigned. And that concludes the screencast for my project. It's 10 minutes long, so I hope you enjoyed it.